Hey everyone on YouTube, how's it going? This is a video response to Thunderfoot's video called The Real Threat from Islam. Uh, First, before I make my response, I just want to give a little background on me concerning the mosque issue, which is really what this video is about. This is just another extension of the mosque issue. Me personally, I'm an American, I live in America. This is a dorm room in America, and I personally believe in freedoms. I believe that you should have as much freedom as you can get without interrupting other people's freedoms. So if those people own that land and they want to build a community center or a mosque or whatever they want, they can build that there. That's their land. That's their right. As Americans, at least it should be. There shouldn't even be an argument about it. It doesn't matter if you're offended, even if they're being a bunch of assholes and they're doing it so that they can overlook the twin towers ground zero area. It's irrelevant. It doesn't even matter. This is a country of freedom of choice, and that's what I believe. Anyway. So back to the video, which is what I'm responding to. Yeah. Actually, what I've noticed now is there's actually, for the first time that I've observed in a while, there's a little schism going on in the atheist community. That schism is between a few atheists who believe that who are saying things against Islam that everyone finds controversial. And by everyone, I mean everyone who's big in the atheist community. What I've seen is that the majority of atheists do not agree with saying things that could be interpreted. That could be basically rile people up. That's obviously not a good idea. You should never try to say anything that might incite violence. That's not the way to go here in this kind of issue, especially since everyone is saying that they're peaceful and everyone is trying to be in the right here. The Muslims are trying to be right and peaceful, and the American people are trying to be right and peaceful. Everyone's trying to be right and peaceful, so everyone means well, but so why are we fighting anyway? In the past few videos, the tolerance and ground zero mosque videos, Thunderfoot came out and said that if Christians tried to build a church in Mecca, they wouldn't be allowed to. I'm pretty sure that's a fact. I haven't done the research, so don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that is correct. I believe that Thunderfoot is not lying, that the evidence that he put in the video is quite real. I don't believe that I don't believe that Christians would be allowed to do that. And I don't think that they would be allowed to do that, especially if someone flew a plane into I forget what it's called. Forgive me. I'm not really educated on Muslim faith, so I'm not quite sure what that is called. But everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's what Mecca is built around. It's what everyone who's a Muslim is praying to. Anyway, he said that if Christians wanted to build a church there near that this imaginary crash zone, they would not be allowed to, and I agree. I don't think that they would be allowed to, at least not for the foreseeable future, not the way those countries are in that region. But that's the thing. In the recent videos, Thunderfoot, you've kind of diverted from. It seems like you've diverted from your original message. Well, not that you're diverting from your original message, but you're starting to say things that kind of detract from your message. And what I mean by that is, first, I've noticed that you started using the phrase the Arab world and the Islamic world interchangeably, at least in this video. I don't remember the other videos, but in this video you use them interchangeably at least once. And I think that it's kind of important that we make this distinction. You disagree about dividing the moderates from the extremists, which I also disagree. I think it's actually quite important that we differentiate between these people, because the moderate is not our enemy. The moderate is not trying to destroy our buildings or destroy our culture. From what I've observed, the majority of moderates are just trying to get along in our society, and that's just what they want to do. Okay, that's great. I mean, I want to get along with the moderates too. Sure, as long as you're not interfering with my freedoms, I don't want to interfere with your freedoms. You can do whatever you want. You can believe whatever you want. Just stay out of my business. Don't tell me what to do, and let me do my thing, and that's fine. Now, the extremists, however, is just as the name implies, they take the extreme viewpoint. And of course, you can argue semantics about, oh, they're not really extremists because they're just following the letter of their holy book. But then again, what do you call the Westboro Baptist Church Christians? Don't we call them extremists as well? I don't know, maybe you don't. I'm pretty sure that the majority of us do. But we don't use that as a representation for all Christians, do we? No, I don't think we do. So distinction there is important, I think. So I disagree with you on that, Thunderfoot. And I also disagree about the distinction between the Arab world and the Islamic world. You don't differentiate between the two, you use them interchangeably. I think that it's important to distinguish, because when you say the Arab world, that really sounds like you're speaking about the Middle East, where all of these theocratic nations are. And when you say the Islamic world, it sounds like you're speaking about all of the Muslims around the world in general. And when you are speaking about all the Muslims in the world in general, you are speaking about people who live in first world countries as well. And again, I think this is a very important distinction, because the majority of the Muslims who come to live in first world countries are not trying to destroy our society. They're not trying to destroy buildings, and they're not trying to ruin people's lives. They just want to live here in a different country, usually to better their families, and whatever their reason to come here is, it's their prerogative. I think it's important to make that distinction, because in the Middle East, the majority of those countries are 100% theocratic, and their entire society and government is run under the rule of Islam. And that's really where you see the lack of scientific progress. I'm sure in the first world there's plenty of Muslim scientists who have made many discoveries. I haven't done any research into it. I don't know what the numbers are. I'm pretty sure they're higher than 1%, though, at least as a representation of the Muslims who are moderates who live in first world countries. Now, if you're talking about, of course, the Arab world, the Middle East specifically, then of course you see a lack of scientific progress. And that to me says volumes. That says to me that it's not Islam that's the problem, it's theocratic Islam that's the problem. You can't have governments who are controlled by religious ideals and expect any kind of scientific progress. I would say that if the United States or Britain or any other first world country remained extremely Christian and maintained that stance and became, an extremist Christian country, something akin to the Middle East, then I think you would see a lot of the same things, a lot of laws that prevent scientific progress, and you would see much of the similar figures. You would see that there's not a lot of scientific progress in such a nation. Of course, no nation, as far as I can tell, exists. At least not one big enough for us to see scientific progress stifled. But I think you can get my point, right? What do you think?